Hi, this is Daphne with Glitter It Up with Daphne, and I know Christmas is almost here, and today is Sunday, and I'm so behind. But I am not ready for Valentine's yet. I don't even want to look at stuff or have anything to do with any of that holiday or even winter stuff. I am still working on my Christmas stuff, and I'm excited about the things that I have to do, and even though it's late for me to do them, I will have them for years to come. So I'm gonna go on and do them, and hopefully you guys will come along with me while I try to put together not just one but two tiered cakes. One big one to go in the middle of my dining table, and one littler one that's going to be a gift for my brother and his wife. They've been so good to me over the years, and I really want to make them something special. So I've been making them a holiday tiered cake with every season. So I'm going to do a Christmas one. And part of it is going to be, I've already done the part for mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one, and it's going to be it's going to look like a cookie, like a gingerbread cookie with filling in it. So I'm going to do that. So right now I want to just kind of take the corner off of this, and so this is just styrofoam that I've kept from other like furniture that I've gotten over the years. I will keep any piece of styrofoam that comes in any kind of packing, because I'll either turn it into like a candy or brownies or a tiered cake. So even the tiered cake that I'm going to be making that has like a big cookie on the bottom of it, it was 4 blocks, and I had to cut them. I had to cut some of it off because it was too tall, and then I had to cut them in half, and then I had to glue all 4 pieces together. So the result was that I came out with this. So I'm going to be painting this, and right here where you see the gap, I'm going to put lightweight spackling so it looks like icing. So I'm going to be doing a littler version of that on this right here. So I've got to bevel the edge just slightly so it looks like a baked cookie. So I'm going to take my hot wire, and I'm just going to run it along the edge and take some of that off. So nothing great, just a little bit. So there we have that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be, because I don't want to spill that, I'm going to glue styrofoam in the middle of that along the edge so that I don't have to fill it very much. So I'm going to be doing that real quick. So I have some little scrap pieces from where I cut off the excess from the big one that I did. So I'm just going to be looking at these, and I'm going to be thinking, you know, something like about like that. So let me get my glue gun heated up, and I need my tacky glue. So then these will be something about like that. Maybe I can get this one to work. Go down here. you always think you have everything and then you find out you don't. I don't know what I did with my scissors. There we go. Out of the way. And get my tacky glue going. This pen has actually worked very well for the glue. I lost the little lid and I don't know where it's at. Maybe it's with my scissors. Anyway, so I'm gonna run this down the middle, and then I'm going to do the glue gun on the outside. Because that's kind of hard to get going, I'm going to go ahead and glue all of these things with the tacky glue while I have it working. So I'm not really worried about the imperfections on that because I'm gonna be filling in with the lightweight spackling and make it kind of then I lightly sand it, so it doesn't have to be perfect, so just I ain't doing that. I'm gonna guess this is gonna be off too. It's not as bad. It's not as bad. And you could probably measure it and get it more precise, but that is just not how I roll. Should I? Maybe. Okay. have a little bit of a gap right here. See if I can't stick some of this in here. Some of the scraps in here where there we go. So the next thing that I do is I take the spackling and I'm just going to kind of smear it all over it. I have a bigger bucket that I'm working out of. Okay, I found my spackling. So this was the bucket that I had before, but I kept the bucket because it made it nice to mix a little at a time. So I'm going to steal some out of this. This is the DAP kind, and I really like it the best. I can get by with using the one time, but I didn't like it as well. It didn't do as good for me. Anyway, I'm just gonna steal some out of this bucket and put it in here. And then I already got the paint in there, so I'm just gonna be mixing this up. Like you can put a little water. I see people use water all the time. Paint. I watched one lady a long time ago. I don't recall who she was, but she put conditioner in hers. And I mean, I guess so. I mean, I guess you could use anything you want like that. So anyway, I'm just gonna kind of smooth over these and try to cover up those little hole looking things so it looks a bit smoother. So I'm not really worried about the bottom as much. Not as much. So here will be where I can kind of shape in where it was missing pieces. And I don't cut even. For the life of me, I can't cut good with the hot wire. I'm just like, it's a nightmare for me, but I manage. I think that probably the hot knife is the way to go. But I haven't used one, so I couldn't tell you that for sure. It just seems like it would be. When I've seen people work with it, it seems like it's easier. It's not as, it's like you can control where it's going better. and with the hot knife, I feel like you can't. I mean the hot wire. It's not like you have to put a lot. You just, like I said, you just want to. Now you could too. You could take your finger and dip it in water and kind of smooth this out, or you could sand it. You know, whatever works for you. Okay, see how this has like all those holes? I'm gonna be covering that up so you won't see that anymore. Or at least it won't be as noticeable. You know, I know a lot of people are already gearing up for Valentine's and shopping for it and stuff like that. I just can't even get into it until I don't want to deal with it until after Christmas. I mean, Christmas is like one of my all-time favorite holidays, and then probably Halloween. I mean, I love Valentine's, but it's certainly not my favorite holiday. And I don't really decorate for winter. Not really, no. I mean, I don't, I don't dislike like snowmen or stuff like that. It's just, I mean, I have a few things with snowmen on it, but I kind of go from Christmas straight to Valentine's, and then Easter, and then patriotic, and back to Halloween. So now I'm just gonna try to get it across the top a little bit, mainly to cover up those little holes, because even if they're like little circly things in the styrofoam, and even if you paint them, you're still gonna see them through the paint. So okay, so that's got that on there. So now this has to dry before I can do any sanding or anything. So I'll let this dry, and while this is drying, I will paint the big one that I have already ready. Over there. Ooh. I'm trying to get it over there. Alright. So I will be right back after I get set up for the next thing. Right, so this was the big one that I was talking about. It's actually it was 4 sections, and I had to put like little dowel rods in it and glue it and piece it. And so I lightly sanded it, but you can still see texture in it, and it's a little bit not perfect across the top, but that's okay because I have so much stuff to go up there, and it's gonna go up and be a tier cake. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this painted, and then once it dries, I'll fill this with the spackling so it looks like icing, and then we'll go from there. So this is just a gingerbread color that I mixed a long time ago. In fact, I need to use it up. It's starting to dry up a bit on the edge. But I made like a large gingerbread out of styrofoam and painted it. And I mixed this to get the color that I wanted. But you could just do like nutmeg or any kind of color that you deem to be gingerbread worthy, I guess. Or any other kind of cookie that you like, you know, it really doesn't matter. You could do a chocolate chip cookie this way. And I think that would look pretty. So I don't really have to paint the top of it because it's gonna have, it's gonna look like icing coming over the top. So I just really need to get this part and this part painted. And probably not the bottom either because that'll be setting on the table. And I'd rather not paint come off on my table. So I probably won't paint that part either. They'll just be the sides. And you don't really have to worry about being that neat because like I said, you're going to be putting icing on that. So you just want to make sure you get all the cookie part covered. Or what would be the cookie. You know, I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers. I have a couple that I really like watching. Joanne Brandy. I like watching Jennifer with Happiness is Homemade For. I just, they're some of the sweetest people. And I think her name is Cindy with Peeps This, y'all. I like her too. She's like really nice, and I've learned a lot from them. There's a few more. I can't recall the name of the streamer, but she's like Canadian, and she has like she has a lot of fake stuff. I'll have to find out her name so you guys can look for her, because they all do such creative stuff, and I've learned a lot. And then plus the things that I know how to do as a cake decorator, I've just kind of applied those. And I've enjoyed all the stuff that I do, like the fake stuff. And wreaths, I've done wreaths and stuff like that for all the holidays. I think my mom would have really liked the way I decorate all this stuff now. I wish that she could have seen it, but I lost her a number of years ago. She was a character, to say the least. She was very supportive of me working on the crafts and stuff. You know, money was kind of tight, so I would go out after the holidays. Back then they used to do, like they'd have the big sales the day after Christmas, and you could get stuff for so cheap. I got these, they're like big dolls. They're Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus or elves, I don't know, whatever you want them to be. I always think of them as Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. And I put them on my hearth, and I just think they're adorable. I bought them at CVS Pharmacy, like after the holidays, like years and years ago. I think before my daughter was born even, I think is when I got them. So they're like over 20, 23 years old, almost 24 years old. She'll be 24 in May. That just doesn't even seem possible. And I have the most adorable grandchildren. Some are by birth and some are kind of adopted. But to me, I love them all. So I have Abigail and Genevieve and Ivy and Caden. And if you guys listen, Grandma loves you, okay? Well, Genevieve and Ivy are too little to really, I mean, they can listen, but to understand. I guess my daughter plays the videos and she hears my voice and I guess she likes it evidently, which is kind of cool. So I don't know if you can see it kind of starting to take shape to where it's going to look like a cookie. I don't know exactly how far the icing is going to come yet. I haven't figured that out yet, so I just want to make sure I get wherever the cookie might be showing, I want to kind of cover it up. I think this is right. Okay, I will be back when this is dry and ready to be filled like a cookie. Okay, so now this is mostly dry. I'm going to put a filling in my pretend cookie or fake cookie. So the two things I'm going to use is I have this idea, and you'll see it as it comes, as I get it done or I start doing it. But so I want to put the sprinkles, the polymer clay sprinkles that my husband and I made, and also this is from Hobby Lobby. It's called Tinsel Snow Flurry, and to me it just looks like sugar crystals, so I want to put that on there too. So I'm going to get that ready to go. This is going to be fun. Trying to put these on the side, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use a star tip, and it's the 1M star tip and the spackling to fill that. So I'm going to get my bag filled up. So this is the same bag that I used for something else, and I put the whole bag in a plastic Ziploc and stored it. And I did have to, because the tip was in it, the stuff had clogged up in it, but I just took a toothpick and kind of cleaned it out, got it going again. So this is just, once again, just the spackling with the white paint mixed in it. And I think sometimes I like to smooth the icing out and make it look smooth, but I think I'm gonna leave the star tip look in it because I think I want that. So we'll see. I'm gonna put it on there and then I'll decide. start right here. And I'm just going to do straight line. So that's what it looks like. So now I'm going to put the sprinkles on. So you have to do the sprinkles first. And then I'm going to do this that looks like sugar crystals. So I always get the glitter and stuff everywhere. So part of the reason that the name of my YouTube channel is Glitter It Up with Daphne is my husband teases me, but I get glitter everywhere. I'll have it on me. It's all over our living room, on our couch, pretty much everywhere. So it was just only fitting that I call it Glitter It Up with Daphne, because I definitely glitter it up. Okay, so then I'm gonna do the next side. Once again, I'm just gonna do straight. So when you're doing this, I mentioned it in the last video I did. You never want, if you have the bag full, you never want to hold too much of it in your palm, because it will hurt your hand. And a lot of cake decorators will tell you that. You always want to palm what's comfortable and don't put too much. For one thing, you're not going to have the control that you want if you have too much. So like I've seen like beginner cake decorators, they'll be squeezing the bag and they'll have this all open, their hands just shake. You don't want to do that, because you will hurt your hand from it. Okay, so again, I want to do the sprinkles. And I'm going to do the glitter, crystally glitter. I mean, it really does look like sugar crystals. So I'm going to have to refill my bag. Get this stuff out of the way. And then when you put it in there, you can just grab a hold of it with your thumb and your fingers and clean off the spatula. And then you just want to squeeze it till it pops and you get the air out. And I want to wipe off my spatula. Alright, that's pretty good. And then I want to start on the next part. So you can see how like the gaps and everything right there, there's like a gap. You won't even see any of that. It'll cover it up. So once again, I'll take 3 lines, start at the bottom. So we're just going to keep doing this till we get all the way around. So you really do want to put the sprinkles as you go, because once it gets the crust on it, they won't stick in. just gonna call them sugar crystals. But it's glitter, just so you know. I know I said this in a previous video, but I think Hobby Lobby just killed it this year. They just had so many good things. I mean, I've liked stuff they've had in the past, but I mean, they just, and well stocked too, I would like to say that. Like before, like you want something and they would only have a few. And let's say if you didn't decide to get it and you go back, it was gone and you couldn't get it. But this year, they really had a lot of stuff. And it made it nice, like you could go through and pick out, you know, one that didn't have any flaws and stuff like that. It was nice. Okay, so one more side, and then this part is done. I will say that this stuff is a lot easier than using real icing. It's not as hard as real icing can be. Same thing all over again. We're going to do the sprinkles. I'll have to go and pick up all these sprinkles because I don't want to waste any of them, but this project is too big to try to get over a plate or something, as much as I wish I could. So there is what's going to look like a cookie with icing in the middle of it. So I'm going to get set up for the next part and I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, so now that I have this on, I started thinking I want to go ahead, I want this cookie to be very glittery. So I have this iridescent glitter. I'm going to use that on it with Mod Podge. So I'm going to do glossy Mod Podge on all the cookie part. Now this already has glitter. It has like the sugar stuff. So I'm going to do this on the cookie, top and bottom. Once again, I don't have to worry about the top because I have stuff that's going to go there. So I just need to put some glitter on all of this. I'm thinking the glitter will kind of cover up some of the imperfections as well. And I know, like from the gingerbread houses that we bought, they're not perfect and they're very glittery. Like all the sides of the little buildings or houses or whatever they are, they're glittered to the hilt. So I guess I kind of want that same kind of look. Okay, so I got that. Let me get glitter on it. On to the next side. Oh yeah, I think I'm really gonna like that. That looks very glittery. Yep. Okay. So once again, I'm going to move this to the side and kind of tip this and put glitter on it and get it everywhere. Because why not? Alright. 2 more slides. That's the hard thing about filming, is trying to get it where you guys can see it well. So be patient with me while I learn all this stuff. Now I'll roll this up, and then this will dry for a little bit, and then I will come back and do the top. Okay, so I will be back in a little bit. Okay, now that it's dried from where I put the glitter on it, painted it and filled it, put the sprinkles and the glitter on it, I'm gonna do clay across the top. And I've been thinking about how to do it because I've tried to roll out big enough to go across a big cake, and it's like a nightmare. So I think what I'm gonna do is like piece it, like do the sides, and then do that all the way around, and then do the top and take water and blend it in as best I can. I mean, it's just supposed to be like icing, kind of dripping off the side. So let's get that going on. So this clay is from Hobby Lobby, and it's air dry foam clay, Crafter's Collection, and it's $3.99 full price. And you know, at 40% off, that's a really good price. So if you can catch it at that, that's the way to go. And I think it's pretty good clay. I'm just going to kind of work it a bit. Yeah, I think I've been real happy with this clay. I think I like it better than the Crayola brand of, and I mean, they all are kind of different in how they work. So I mean, I guess like depending on what you're gonna be doing. Like for stuff like this, I like this one. When I was topping the wood with the clay, I like the Model Light. So I really liked this one because it was very sticky and stuck to the top of the wood. And that was without any glue or anything that it did that. So I was like really, really happy with it. It did exactly what I needed and wanted from it. So just a little bit of water on my finger to try to smooth that bubble thing out. So I may have to glue the edge of this like around it. I probably will. I'm gonna try to get it all on first. Okay, so now that I've got that clay on the top of that cake, I need to get the other cakes ready, and so I'm going to be doing spackling on the side of them, and I'm going to paint them in colors, but I'm just going to do them white because I think that's easier, and then I'll get the color I want. So I got these round styrofoam things from Dollar Tree, and I have 3 packages. They come 2 to a package. So I'm just going to glue these together. Like this. And there we go. So now I've got the lightweight spackling with the white paint, and I don't really need it on the top of this because this one you won't even see the top of it, but even when you do, it's going to have the same kind of white clay coming over the edge. so that it looks like snow or icing or whatever, you know, it has that kind of look. So all I need to do is do the sides of these. And this is one of those things that this is gonna be, the cake is gonna be so busy when I get done with it that it doesn't really have to be perfect how you ice it or any of that. So even though this one is going to have something on it so you won't see the top of it, I'm still going to put the clay stuff on the side, but I have to let this dry and then I have to paint it, so it'll be a while before that happens. So this has to dry completely before I can paint it. So I'm just using parchment paper to set this stuff on so it makes it a lot easier. To clean up. So I need to do this cake. Forgot to glue it. Oh, I forgot to glue it. I think I'll use the regular gun. Alright. Always get those glue strings all over me. It feels like spider web. It like drives me nuts. Okay. So back to this. So what I'm doing is I'm just going up and down. I have a longer spatula that I could try to get a real smooth look, but this is fine. got all the ones that have to be iced. At least I think I do. So I'm gonna try and just paint these and see if I can't get what I need by doing that. Hopefully I can. It'll save on the lightweight spackling, because that adds up. That stuff gets so expensive. So let's see if I can get by painting these. I'll be right back. Okay, so I made this like a little house thing out of Little Debbie's box. So I'm gonna try to turn this into a gingerbread house. And then I also have this one that came from Dollar Tree that I need to paint gingerbread. And then the littler cake that we made earlier. So I need to get this painted so that I'll be able to put the filling in it. So it'll be just kind of like that cake, only a small. So, like I said before, I have this paint that's really old and I need to use it up. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, but you could use whatever color that you think looks like gingerbread. So you could do the nutmeg, or no, what is it called? No, that's the classic card. I think this is it. Oh, chestnut. So chestnut. Anyway, so you know, whatever color that you feel like is the right color, I would just use that. So it's probably gonna take at least 2 coats at least. Okay, we will see how this does. Hopefully it works. Okay, so normally I wouldn't paint the underneath side, but I need to at least do a little bit because this one is going to hang over, so I need to get just the edges of it painted. It doesn't have to be, you know, perfect, but just so that in case something shows. So now this stuff just has to dry overnight, and I will be back tomorrow to show you the rest of it. Okay, so now that I've got everything coated with the lightweight spackling, I'm going to paint them and get them ready for the clay to go across the top. So let me get started on that. Okay, so this is going to be a little bowl, and you'll see later what it's all about. But I promised my daughter I'd paint it green, so I'm going to go ahead and do that while I have this green out. Okay. So next I'm going to be painting my cake spread, but I'll be right back. I have to let my dogs out to go to the bathroom. Okay, now that I have the green cakes painted, I'm going to paint these two red. Okay, now that all these things are painted, I just need to let them dry. And once they dry, I can put the same thing that the cookie cake had. It'll have like the clay over the top of them. So then I can put that on them, and then once I get that done, I can assemble them, and then I can start the fun part, which is decorating. So I'll see you back here in a little bit. Okay, so now I have everything painted, it's dried, it's glittered, it's ready for me to put the tops on them and assemble the cake. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be using the Crafters collection from Hobby Lobby in the white, and I'm going to be using the white spackling with white paint in it, and I've got it in a bag with a tip number 22 on it, a star tip. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Okay, so now I'm going to put a shell border around the bottom of the cake. And so the way you do this is you squeeze and pull down. Squeeze and pull down. So you're kind of letting it make a bubble. So Squeeze, pull down. Squeeze, pull down. So you go towards the cake. You don't want to do it on this one. You want to do it towards the corner. That way you won't end up with a gap between this cake and that cake. So you point it right into the corner. Squeeze, pull down. Squeeze, pull down. So squeeze, pull down. So I'm also going to put it on this one. So I'm going to have to do this one like right on the cake. But I'm going to do basically the same thing. So I'm squeezing and then I pull down towards the cake. And then just once again, you only want to keep what's comfortable for your hand, because if you put too much in there, you'll strain your hand. So now I'm going to get the other cakes out and get it put together. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm ready to start on this cake now. Okay, so now the cakes are assembled and it's just the fun part left. So I have to make little things to go on it. I have some of them already made, but I'm going to show you how I make them. So I'm going to be back in just a little bit once I get set up for that. Okay, so both of the cakes are set up and ready to decorate. So I have some things that I've made already, some gingerbread people and fake bake things to go in it. You know, just a few things that I'm gonna decorate with it. And like I've made, so I made this, but I need another one of something like this for the other cake, the smaller cake. So I've got this painted and I'm gonna be, well, I guess I'm gonna reglue that. So I'm gonna be making more gingerbread people. I have to do a sign. And so this is just like cereal box and just like I've cut up to make this and to make this. In fact, I need to paint that part. I haven't painted it, you can see. And I did this one out of popsicle sticks. I struggled. It was really hard to do. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. But anyway, so the cardboard's a little bit easier to work with as far as like cutting it and stuff like that. So anyway, I have to make little cakes and stuff like that to go on it, and I need to do this sign. And this is just like stuff from the little Debbie box I cut out. So it kind of gives your sign a three-dimensional look. So this is one that I made with little Debbie stuff. So I'm going to be trying to do something very similar to this sign right here. So it's a real struggle, and normally I don't do like this kind of stuff on camera. So it's, bear with me. And I'll see if I can't get this to work. All right. Okay, so I got this a long time ago off of Etsy. I don't recall who it was from, but it's a graham cracker mold, and I've mixed some clay to be my graham cracker color. So I'm gonna make these for the roofs of the gingerbread houses. So I'm gonna need quite a few to go up there. I have 2 of them, so I'm just gonna make some of those real quick. And then when I get these done, I will glue those on top. Okay, I think that's enough for you to kind of see. So if you didn't have this mold, you could just roll out and then put little holes in it and kind of, I've seen people use like a toothbrush and put little dimples in it. So you could do something along the lines of that. So when I get these done, I'll be back. Okay, so now that I have these graham cracker things made, I've already done the other side, so I'm gonna do this side. I'm just gonna kind of lay them out, and they'll kind of stick together, which is good. Okay, so now I'm going to be using a circle tip number 12. So, to do like the icing. So I have a coupler in here so I can change out the tip. So I bought these at the end of, after the holidays last year, these gumdrops, and I'm going to be using these along the ridgepole. Hold it, I guess. Okay, so now that I've got both of my turd cakes done, and I started decorating the smaller turd cake, and I finished it, I was gonna try to show you guys how I do it, but they're so tall and it just didn't work out to where I could. But anyway, I'm put on the things using the lightweight spackling and the glue gun and tacky glue, just depending on where it's at and what you need to do. Sometimes one won't stick or it'll melt stuff, so you just kind of have to adjust according to that. So anyway, I'm going to be making, I'm going to have like a little North Pole bakery on the cake, and I'm going to have all kinds of gingerbread people doing all kinds of various things, and then I'll have a gingerbread house at the very top on both of the cakes. So I'm going to be making things using clay, lightweight spackling, paint, just things like that. And things that I've already made, and gumdrops that I got from Hobby Lobby, and just any kind of little knickknacks that, so if you were doing something, just anything like that would work. Okay, so that's the kind of things that I'm going to be making to go on the cake. I have to make some more gingerbread people and fake bake stuff. So these are the kinds of things that I have put together. And I made these little shells, not very well, but I think by the time it's on the cake, it'll be cute. So really anything that you can think of, like these donuts are really easy. And that's just glue in the little thing that looks like lifesavers. And you could do white on top of them like I did here, or festive like the holiday colors. So pretty much anything that you can think of, that kind of stuff would work. So anyway, when I get it together, I will be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, I finally finished my tiered cake, gingerbread people running amok. So I have a bakery, the North Pole Bakery on this side. And if you look in the bowl, there's some little surprise in that bowl. And a snowball fight going on. And over here on this side is the Oh Snap Hospital. And you can see it says Oh Snap Hospital, and then there's a little sign. If you read that, it's a scary thought. And then there's a little gingerbread house up here, and this little guy's making a snowman. So he has his little snowman will have a friend. Then we have some little girls doing playing jump rope. And he's carrying way too many presents. Somebody needs to tell him. And then look at these. I'm telling you, those bakers look dangerous to me. I just want to know what they're up to. And then this guy is having a cup of hot chocolate. And this poor guy is falling off. Oh no, it makes me think of Mr. Bell. I don't know if any of you would remember that, but and then these are harvesting some of the icing out of the middle of the cookie cake. So they've got their little buckets all full of sprinkles and icing, and he's got a pickaxe and he's going to town. And if you look right here, we have little Debbie's, like Christmas trees. We have the chocolate and the white ones. And on the other side, we have gingerbread cookies. And if you look, if you go clear up, it looks like the guy up here, this little gingerbread man, is having a little trouble with his lights. Hopefully he can get them untangled and he won't fall. Well, I hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas. And I did have the most fun making this cake. And I hope you enjoy this. And please like and sub to my channel. And please tell me what you think of this cake. I would love to hear. I put a lot of hours in on it, but it was fun. It was fun. So Merry Christmas.